Hi folks, Steven here. So this is going to be another in our series of Pokemon Go Community Day recaps. I'll also be covering some site news, some feedback from listeners, and stuff of that nature. We've got a decent amount to go through this time. As usual, I have prepared a presentation to go with this. So 1 second here, let's get that booted up. So let's see, application window. All right, so you should be seeing a nice big black screen right now. But this was the Gastly Community Day for this one. So we'll be going over that, what happened, what worked, what didn't, and some of the stuff like that. So, all right, first off. Yes. So I always like, even though I spent the entire time indoors pretty much for this community day, I did want to kind of go to see other places. I'd be taking proper precautions, masks, sunscreen, stuff like that. Unfortunately, the current situation, you know what I mean there, has gotten worse, not really better as we kind of hoped. So maybe next month things start to improve. I can start showing you some places around Madison again. But this time I did stick close to home. But let's talk about the weather. Let's see. So last month on the June 20th, the high was right on there, 79, normal 79, low was 69. That was above average. And then over on the right-hand side, you can see yesterday's weather. I don't have the weather for today since Community Day was today. Yesterday's high was 88, the normal is 82. Low was 75, normal is 61. Wind speed yesterday, fairly windy, 10.9 miles an hour. Today was a little bit cooler, I think. Not quite as warm. We also got some rain yesterday, so I guess that would have literally dampened things a little bit. As always, this data comes from the National Weather Service. All temperatures are in Fahrenheit. So that kind of gives you an idea of what things are like in Wisconsin this time of year. So had I been outside today, it would have been fairly warm and stuff like that. All right. So yes, of course, this is Gastly Community Day. And as is usually the case, if you fully evolve it, you get a Pokemon that knows a move it does not normally learn. In this case, it is Gengar with Shadow Punch. Now, I actually do have a regular Gengar from last year during the Detective Pikachu promotion. You may remember they put a bunch of Pokemon from that game either in the wild or in raids, and I managed to catch a Gengar during a Gengar raid during that promotion there. But all the same, I was very interested in getting some more stuff going for that. All right. So, and you notice the theme between this month and last month, both Pokemon once fully evolved have Mega Evolutions, which apparently they're adding. So Gengar also has a Mega Evolution. Okay. So yes, they decided to call this promotion the Great Gastly. That is not the only time Nintendo has pulled something from the career of F. Scott Fitzgerald. If you know the other one, go ahead and put that in the chat or as a comment. No special rewards, but I'll let you know if you're right. In any event, last month we did not have one of these special research tests for Beedrill for whatever reason. I guess they just didn't have time to put one together, but this time they did. Let's see, you have to play during the time, all the usual stuff there. So that's kind of what it looks like there. Now, the first one of these they did back in April. They did put a little token on there. They didn't do that for this, but it was nice, I say, just to have this back here. However, I had a little bit of a problem purchasing it. So, yeah, this counts as an item, which is how they've implemented it in the game. I think I may have run into this before, but you do have to have at least one space left in your item bag to take care of that. I could expand my item bag, but I try to be at least a little bit on the clean side there. So after taking care of some stuff. Now, I did want to mention, if you're watching this now or very shortly afterwards, they had a really good daily free box today, at least in my game. They had 30 Ultra Balls, which is really great, actually. That's a substantial portion of, like, if you bought the Community Day box, that's what you'd be getting there. So pretty impressive if you ask me. Okay, so that was something you can pick up, I guess, still now, I would assume. Okay, and then, yep. So one of the things I like to do right off the bat is compare the regular and shiny versions of the Pokemon. So you see on the left, we have a regular Gastly. It's a sphere with a mouth, eyes, and teeth. And then its shiny version is obviously the same form, but it's got more of a purple hue. And that's going to be a sort of a thing that goes along with the rest of the evolution line. So maybe not the most impressive shiny, and we'll take a look at the later forms in a little bit, but still something. I think I caught 2 shinies this time around, so that was definitely something. All right, so now that we have special research back again, of course, we can, for Community Day, we get a little bit of a narrative that goes through this. So let's see, there we see Professor Willow, I believe, talking to us about some of the going-ons there, and sort of how a bunch of Gastly kind of invaded his lab mobile, or whatever it's called, mobile lab, and how that became kind of a problem. So each of these steps has a couple pieces of dialogue that goes through, and then you get your tasks for each of the really 3 phases. It says 4, but there's really 3. So the first one is pretty simple. You got to power up Pokemon 10 times. You got to catch 15 Gastly and make 5 nice throws. And you can see the various rewards there. I didn't have too much trouble. Now, this time around, I tried not to use an incense. Not because it didn't work the last time, a couple community days, but because it was too effective. I just constantly had the Community Day Pokemon in my face, and I was trying to actually get some work done. I was doing some video editing during this and trying in between catches, taking care of some stuff. We'll talk about that video a bit later. I hope to have it up tonight or tomorrow at the latest. All right, so another thing I wanted to talk about here, raids. So I kind of struck out on both of these, actually. You can see on the left there's a Kyurem raid. On the right there's an Alolan Raichu raid. Now the Kyurem raid has actually opened up before the window started, I think. So I considered using like a remote raid pass, but no one was in there, which is not entirely surprising. And then partway through, an Alolan Raichu raid came up, which I would have been very interested in. It was a level 3 raid, so I really did want some help. I probably only needed 1 or 2 other people to give me a good shot at taking it down. So I tried to, get in there right as it started. And what I would do is just before the timer expired, if no one was in the lobby with me, I would quit out, start back up again. And unfortunately, no one seemed to show up. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with this, if there's a particular reason this particular gym just doesn't attract people. I was using a remote raid pass, by the way, for all of this. So it was honestly kind of weird and disappointing, to be honest. I know, Alolan Raichu's been around for a long time in the game, but all the same, I would have hoped that would have attracted somebody who was trying to earn some experience or, get another one or something like that. But yeah, so I kind of struck out on both of these. So remote raid pass is still not quite working out for me. One thing that did work in my favor, though, is I managed to get a new Pokemon, a Surskit. Believe it or not, I did not have one of those yet, so got some bonus experience. Not a particularly great Pokemon or anything like that, but it is worth the bonus experience for a new Pokemon species, so that's nice. All right. So complete the first stage, and then you get a little more dialogue. And Professor Willow says, we'll need to prepare for a dangerous Pokemon. He's talking about how you need to evolve into Haunter, and he's sort of hinting that there's something more down the line. The Gastly line obviously has a bit of a special place since it's a, what is it? It's an evolve. It's the only Ghost-type line in the original generation. So it does have a very special place in that. It's probably part of the reason Gengar got a Mega Evolution. One interesting thing on the right-hand side, you see that I have one. Let's see here. You might want to plug in your PC. Okay. There we go. All right. sorry, the plug on my computer was just slightly out there. And so now it's back up. We shouldn't have any more problems. Sorry about that. Going back to our presentation. Let's see. So I have one Gastly there. Apparently catching a Haunter counts as catching a Gastly for whatever reason for that specific one there. So a little bit odd about that. I need to transfer some Pokemon, and I need to evolve 3 Gastly. That's 25 candy each, and get some experience off of that. So rewards there, of course, are Stardust, Incense, and Apophis. So evolution, not too difficult. Like I said, 25 candy each. Here's what that mid-stage Haunter looks like. It's more purple than the regular one, especially, I guess, the inside of its mouth is actually purple as well. So that kind of takes care of things there. So that actually was not too difficult to take care of that part of it. All right, and then we get to the third part, which, like I said, is really the last part. It says 4, but the fourth part you just complete automatically once you complete the third and take care of the rewards there. This is a funny little bit of in-app humor, and not the most hilarious laugh-out-loud thing ever, but I did want to mention it. I've noticed team leaders tripping and stumbling around the lab today. It seems as if Haunter is having a bit of fun with them, but I don't think Blanche is amused. So Blanche, if I remember correctly, is one of the team captains, I guess, for one of them. Maybe that's or something else like that. But kind of funny. Let's see. So we've got someone in the chat room there. I will talk with you in just a moment. I don't usually do friend requests on stream or trades on stream or stuff like that. Sorry about that. Just because of the difficulty, and it stops the stream a lot. I do want to keep going with this. So, but thank you very much for coming in here. Let's see. So you see the usual stuff. See, make 3 great curveball throws. So the first time around with this, I had a lot of trouble with that. Evolve 1 Haunter, you get some golden raspberries. Not sure if that's supposed to be a comment on Haunter / Gengar's sort of tongue-sticking nature, you know, blowing a raspberry, stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a thing there or if they chose it for that reason. And then transfer 10 Pokemon, 1,500 experience. Get some more rewards on it. They give you a lot of incense for these, considering you should only really need 2. I got another chat room here. I'm not doing a raid at the moment right now. No, we're just recapping what I did there. But if you have any of your own experiences, go ahead and do that. I mean, it should have just ended up on the West Coast route there. You still have some time to do some of this. But yeah, curveball throws actually were not that bad. I only used about 6 or 10 or so, maybe. I don't know. Better of waiting. I had a couple times where I got a great curveball throw, and then it caught the Pokemon, which of course gives you a bonus for that, but it hadn't worked. So that's the third part of the Great Gastly. So let's see. I don't know. Well, I wonder if that pun, I mean, technically speaking, that's proper now in the novel name as well. But I'm just thinking about whether that pun works outside the U.S., outside of English-speaking countries. But in any case, yep. So once you complete that, so I evolved there to complete the middle one there. You can see I evolved the Haunter. This is one of my better Gastlys that I caught today, or Gastly that I caught today. It's an irregular plural. See, in the middle, I got a Gengar, and then over on the right-hand side, I got Shadow Punch. So that looks pretty good, to be honest. All right, next up is... so after you complete all of that, like I said, not as difficult as previous times to get the great curveball throw. We got some very corny humor from Professor Willow here. It tries to make a boo joke. Haha, got me. Uh-huh. So, yeah. Obviously, this is kind of meant to be kind of funny-ish. Or maybe that's not the right word. I'm not going to hate on it or anything. It's obviously aimed at a little bit of a younger demographic. than some of the other stuff here. But do kind of appreciate wrapping up. I do hope that in future community days they can maybe play with the formula just a little bit about that. I'm glad they worked in some of the other folks and stuff like that. I think they are getting a bit better, but I want them to maybe squeeze in a bit more. I'm sure all this stuff obviously has to get approved up the chain and stuff like that. I'm not sure if Niantic writes these or folks in the Pokemon Company or what. That would be interesting to know. Right. And let's see. Okay, so I eventually, well, first of all, you may know that when you complete the research, you get to catch another one of the most evolved Pokemon. And so in other words, I got another Gengar, and this one is pretty good. Not perfect stats, but honestly pretty good there in the 3 stars. So that's going to be a good one as well. Middle one, I believe, is my shiny Gengar. Kind of notice it's very hard to kind of tell the difference there, kind of, unfortunately. But it's got a Shadow Punch as well. All right, so next up, one other thing I did manage to accomplish is I did complete a couple of accomplishments over the course of today's thing. First of all, I reached 200 Poison-type Pokemon found, or caught, I should say. Poison-type, pretty common, especially in Gen 1. I think as the generation is going on, there's still some out there, obviously, but they aren't as common. I think Poison was originally intended to be the bad team type, the Team Rocket type, before they had Dark in Generation 2 and beyond. But nice thing about that is I get a catch bonus on all Poison-type Pokemon. It goes from 2 to 3. Not sure mathematically how that works out probability-wise. Let's see. The other thing I managed to do is finally, after about 4 years, I managed to get the collector status. This means I've caught 2,000 Pokemon. Let's see. I forget if you get anything with that. I don't think you get any attire or stuff like that, but that is another. Says I've been playing this game a lot, I guess. So that was kind of a nice thing to do. All right, so here are overall thoughts for this month's Community Day. We have, first of all, special research is back. Yes. As much as I sort of talk about the corniness of the writing and stuff like that, I really do appreciate having a certain level of guidance. Gives the experience a little more guidance and flavor. And I think it just makes the experience overall better. So I hope they continue to do that. I'm not sure what next month is going to be. I believe next weekend is Go Fest, virtual Go Fest. So hope to do another one of these live streams next weekend. Middle one I want to point out there is that, yes, you can complete special research without incense. Some of it depends where exactly you're situated. Obviously, if you're situated near a Pokestop in your neighborhood, you'll get more stuff that way. But I was able to get enough Gastly that I was able to complete the research and in the time allotted. You just have to make sure you have enough time there. So, like I said, the incense, the problem is not that it doesn't work. The problem is it works too well for me to get anything else done during that time. I don't need, 5 million Gastly. I just need enough to get the requisite amount of candy and stuff like that. And I guess my one other complaint, remote raid pass still has not yet really worked out for me. That Alola and Raichu, unfortunately, no one else really showed up to take it down, which was kind of too bad. I don't know. So we'll see what goes on with that in the future. Maybe I'm just unlucky with where I'm situated, that the gyms near me don't have a ton of folks in the radius, even with the remote raid pass. I don't know. But yeah. All right. So I think we've got few other things to talk about. So I mentioned I was editing a video this afternoon, and I've got another interview that should be coming out hopefully later tonight. That's one reason I'm kind of going through this quickly. Jordan Moore, he's done a number of woodwind / flute type instruments, ocarina type stuff with various video game stuff. He's been doing that for about 7 or 8 years at this point. We did an interview last weekend. And I've almost got it done. I got the test render. I got to see if I got to tweak anything and then kind of go from there. But I hope to have this up tonight or tomorrow at the very latest. He's quite accomplished, and he actually just graduated from college with a degree in music education. So he picked an interesting year to start teaching, I guess. But look forward to that soon. It should also be in the next digest episode. I'm waiting for a little bit of stuff from Anne. And speaking of Anne, possibly next weekend, although I don't have a firm date or time for you at the moment, we should be doing our discussion of the music of Pokemon Puzzle Challenge for the Game Boy Color. Not to be confused with Pokemon Puzzle League for the N64, which we discussed just a little while ago. It should be coming out in the podcast feed relatively soon, actually. So this is the Game Boy Color game that is the first Gen 2 side game. There's only like 2 of those, but this is the first of them. And I'm also planning sometime later this week, possibly as early as tomorrow, a game live stream. So looking very much at doing that. So I'll be streaming that hopefully sometime later this week. So that's going on there. All right, a couple of pieces of comments I wanted to get up here. First off, I got a comment on, episode 30 of the podcast, Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. So that was the one where we talked about that. And we got a comment on SoundCloud, which is actually pretty rare. Usually the only comments I get on SoundCloud are automated type stuff that found my stuff through my Twitter posts, which is always fun. Not usually of much value, but this is a real, honest-to-goodness person. Zeddy Zaverick or Maverick Yaveltal. This individual says, Tweety is in my top 5 favorite Pokemon ending themes of all time. And then I sort of replied there, yeah, it's got some great production values and Rachel gives a great performance. Not sure I would put it in my top 5, but it's definitely one of the better Japanese one and has some great stuff to it. I took a re-listen just to remind myself what it sounded like, and I kind of agree with that. Definitely one of the better ones there. All right, and then we've got comment on last month's Disputed Pokemon Songs with Pikapi podcast discussion. And this is from DDD033. Says, I always listen to the songs you guys talk about after the show. You should consider making playlists of the songs you talk about. Great chat. Well, first of all, thank you very much. I guess kind of what I wanted to elaborate. I replied to him, but I wanted to share some of the information of why I typically don't do this. And to be honest, part of the problem is just that a lot of the songs we talk about are not officially on YouTube. They might be unofficially. Sometimes they're not on there at all. But the obvious problem with that is that there's always a chance that if we make a playlist, there's a better than usual chance the video gets taken down at some point, or stuff like that, which kind of stinks. So that's one reason I'm a little bit leery about it. I have done it for things like, the NXS one. If NXS did a Pokemon song, we have all 3 of their songs there. So that works out well for that one. But for a lot of the Pokemon stuff, it's not officially on YouTube because the rights have never really been sorted out for digital services, which kind of stinks. But I do occasionally do that. I used to do it more when we did when we recorded them not live. And then I would post them later. I would try and find the songs if they were on there officially. But that's kind of why I don't do that. But always, since we're going to be doing our discussion soon, if you want to get a comment in for our discussion on Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, this is as good a place as any to put it down there. We'll try and work that one in. We always appreciate that. All right. And then as a member of the Pokecasters Network, there's one more raid night this month. It is on this Friday, July 24th. So when our music discussion is not going to be. I may or may not take part in that. We'll see how it works out. Still playing through Origami King, the Paper Mario game. But yeah, it's going to be Friday, July 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's another thing you can check out there. All right. I think that's the last slide. It should be. All right. So kind of a whirlwind there. Got a lot of stuff to take care of. But thank you very much, folks. I think that's about all we've got at the moment. Thank you to everyone who tuned in here. Like I said, there may well be another one of these next Sunday or Monday, depending on how I decide to handle Pokemon Go Fest. So we'll kind of work that one out. All right, folks. Thanks.